Okay, you guys already know how I feel about this, but I'm going to say it again. I truly, truly believe that trends are the death of fashion. So wear whatever the fuck it is you want to wear. Just do it. Okay. I hate, well, maybe not hate. Hate is a very strong word, but it upsets me deeply to my core whenever I see people in the comments saying, so what are we going to wear this summer? Or can we bring back this? Just fucking do it. Okay. Be your own individual person. And I'm saying this, but I get that not everyone is into fashion. And I mean, truly, truly a student of fashion and cares about the directors at certain fashion houses or wasn't impacted when JWA left Loewe for the LVMH group and Dior or Y Project shutting down like me. And speaking of Y Project, let's swiftly move on because it's a very touchy subject for me and I get très emotional when I talk about it. But anyway, I know not everyone has their Vogue runway notifications on and looks into archival fashion, and some people just like clothes without the fashion history, and that is 100% perfectly fine. So this is not me saying, oh, look at me, an ex-fashion student and a stylist, I know best. This is just what I've seen on recent runways and observed reoccurring in public and what I would like to see or will be wearing throughout this year. And it's completely opinion based, and I cannot see into the future. I don't have that power. I wish I did. So anything I say in this episode is just strictly opinion based on what I will be wearing and what I want to see people wearing and what I have been observing over the last, let's say, 2 years. Now, with all of that being said, hello, my lovies. Hi, everyone, and welcome or welcome back to our little corner of the world, Things Left Unsaid. Over here, we get deep, we get vulnerable, and we just have an overall good time with a side of yap. Now, once again, I started this podcast and it wasn't initially meant to be a fashion podcast. I'm literally just a lover of fashion, ex-fashion student and a stylist, and I live and breathe fashion. So I guess that I'm just kind of putting that out in every social platform that I have, including this podcast. But I have had people say, I love your little fashion podcast. I love it. I was like, oh, thank you so much. It's not actually meant to be a fashion podcast, but I'm always talking about fashion. So maybe I'll just start a little fashion series on Things Left Unsaid. But anyway, in case, well, I haven't even told you guys what we're going to be talking about today. Last year, I did a little fashion forecast, and for some reason, that has been one of the best performing episodes. It was actually a 2-part series, but they were the best performing episodes on Things Left Unsaid. Everyone absolutely loved it for some reason, and it was just me picking up my microphone and yapping about what I was predicting for 2025. I don't know when I recorded that. I believe it might have been January, February, March, April, May, June, maybe June. So it was about the middle of the year. I did my little 2025 fashion forecast, and again, everyone loved it. So I am going to make it a reoccurring theme. Every year, I am going to do my little fashion forecasting, and this is what today's episode is going to be. I am going to try fit this in one part because last time it was 2 parts. So I'm going to try fit this in one part, but also this was meant to be recorded at the end of last year, and then I was meant to put it out at the beginning of January, but I just kind of completely forgot to do that. So we're just going to ignore the fact that I am going to be releasing this in March if I actually edit this and release this, and not the beginning of the year back in Jan when it was scheduled to be recorded. But anyway, ignore all of that. Just pretend I didn't say that, but I'm very open and honest with you guys. And we are going to just get straight in to my fashion forecast, guys. I don't know. I think I said this in the last fashion forecast episode, but back in college, I know that Minda is going to be listening to this and she is absolutely going to agree. One of our favorite morning warm-up activity sessions during our tutoring at the Fashion Retail Academy was we would do a fashion forecast, or we would go on, I don't know, the BET Award runway or whatever recent runway had happened, and we would rate the outfits and talk about what we liked about the outfits and what we disliked about the outfits and who was best dressed. And we did a lot of fashion forecasting as well. And me and Minda absolutely loved it. At the beginning of every lesson, Minda would beg our tutor, shout out Susanna, shout out Ella, to do a fashion forecast on who wore it best or who was the best dressed. So I know Minda absolutely loves a fashion forecast, who was best dressed down. So we are going to be doing a fashion forecast today. And wait, what was I going to say? I completely forgot. Oops. But anyway, aside from that, I am also ill. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. If you can, pretend to ignore it. Well, ignore it completely. But I am ill again. Oh my God, this is a reoccurring theme. I've got such a weak immune system. It's actually disgusting. I don't want to talk about it. But I was meant to meet my best friend yesterday, but I messaged her today. I'm recording this, it's Sunday. So I was meant to meet her yesterday and I messaged her on Friday. I was like, babe, I feel like I'm about to drop dead. Unfortunately, we're going to have to reschedule. I do feel a lot better. If you'd seen me yesterday and on Friday, you would have been like, oh my gosh, that is a walking corpse. She looks terrible. She sounds even worse. What is going on? How is she still alive? So if you're thinking, ooh, she sounds like shit, well, you should have heard me yesterday. I was so much worse. But please ignore my voice. I am ill. I'm trying my best to shake it off, but I'm not very good at fighting deadly diseases. And this feels like pneumonia or the plague or everything fucking combined. So ignore that. I just wanted to mention, if my voice sounds a bit rocky, and I know it does, I absolutely know it does, it's because, there we go, you heard it, I'm fighting fuck knows what. But let's just get straight into my fashion forecast. This intro has been nearly 10 minutes. But actually, before we get into it, if you are watching the video recording, you will see this fancy little contraption that I've got right here. And it's my podcast boom arm, microphone stand, whatever you want to say. Guys, I'm actually a professional now. I'm getting so good at this podcasting shit. Like, what do you mean I've got a fucking boom arm? You kidding me? You kidding me? You can't tell me I'm not a professional. I know I don't really stick to schedules and all that shit, but we got to switch stuff up sometimes. I got to keep you guys on your toes, but I've got a podcast microphone boom arm. If you're watching the video recording, you'll be able to see it. If you're not watching the video recording and you're listening to the audio, just know I have a fancy schmancy microphone boom arm, courtesy of Amazon. Shout out. Actually, you're not getting any free promo from me. Fuck you guys. But anyway, let's get straight into our Kamara's 2026 fashion forecast. Mwah. Let's get into it. Also, my camera is propped up and I keep looking at my camera and it looks like I'm absolutely wearing nothing. And I promise I am. Unless you don't want me to, then we can arrange that as well. Anyway, the first thing I have on my list, I think I said this in the last fashion forecast and it still stands. I believed that last year, this year would be the rise of nostalgia. I felt like the 2026 vibes were so coming back. And at the beginning of this year, we saw so many people, from Hailey Bieber, who was Hailey Baldwin, the Baldwin era, by the way, you guys. Mwah, I was obsessed. Anyway, we saw Hailey Bieber, Justin Bieber, Kylie Jenner, and everyone kind of in that circle, and just everyone reminiscing on 2016. So last year I said that this year would be the rise of nostalgia. And I think that everything in this world is just moving so quickly nowadays, and people want to hold on to as much of their youth as possible. So I predict that we are going to see iPods come back, flip phones, is it the blackberries? The blackberries, I think yesterday actually, I saw Tyler, I think she was at the Mew Mew show and she was holding a blackberry. So I really think that people are going to step back into the earlier days of technology. Yes, some people could say that it's performative, but I really think that it's just people trying to grasp onto any little bit of their youth that they have left, because everything in this world is getting so serious and so intense. So I think that subconsciously, as kind of a comfort thing, everyone is turning to nostalgia, because we genuinely don't know what direction the world is going to take. So people, they need that as a sense of comfort and like a kind of safety blanket, if you will. And I myself have wanted a flip phone for years, because it kind of just comes down to the fact that I don't really use my phone anyway. I think all my friends can attest to this. Reaching me is impossible. You would get a quicker response from me if you sent a pigeon by post than text me or call me. It's that bad. I am really terrible when it comes to my phone. So I'm just thinking, I don't really use this device that much anyway. I've got my laptop if I need to do anything like that. But for every day, for day to day, let me just pull out a BlackBerry. Let me get a flip phone, and then I can bedazzle it and paint it and add pearls to it and diamonds. And just the thought of having a flip phone and fulfilling that childhood goal of mine just makes me so happy. And I'm going to go to my parents soon, and they have a bunch of their old flip phones. So I'm going to rummage through the boxes in the garage and take myself a little flip phone, because why not? I think I deserve it. But anyway, the rise of nostalgia. And with the rise of nostalgia, I truly think that people are going to turn more to physical media as opposed to digital. And there's going to be, I mean, magazines obviously still exist. Of course they do. But back in the day, that was all people really had for research and to see what everyone's wearing. So I think that magazine companies are going to be posting less on their Instagrams and their websites and actually push their magazines out more. And newspapers as a source of research, of course, people are still using newspapers. Of course, that didn't just die out, but I think that it's gonna be pushed a lot more, if that makes sense. And I think my generation is gonna turn to newspapers as opposed to the media. And I think libraries, you don't really see anyone going to the library anymore. I personally love the library. I think that more people are going to get in touch with tangible items as opposed to digital items. I think that we're going to see more CD and record players and like, what's that machine? That like boombox? I don't know, that you would see it in a lot of hip hop photo shoots that people put on their shoulder. Whatever the fuck that is what I mean. So I think that we're definitely going to see a rise in nostalgia. And you heard it here first. But that is the first thing that I am predicting. It wasn't really fashion based, but it still stands. I am also recording on my laptop as I'm recording on my camera. And I do that because I am very bad at charging my camera, and it just happens to die in the middle of me recording. Touch wood, that doesn't happen today, but I'm also recording on my laptop, and I'm looking at both recordings, and I like the angle that my laptop is recording at better. I just kind of like the look of my side profile in my laptop. So for the video recording, I'm gonna see if I can be bothered to flip or switch between the two angles, like those fancy schmancy podcasters you see when they've got an interviewee and they're interviewing someone and it switches from different angles. I am going to try and do that with this if I can be bothered. But anyway, the next thing that I have on my list is barber wax jackets, or just wax jackets in general. But I specifically put barber because now this is very specific, but I work at a vintage shop, vintage retail, and I get to see firsthand what people are buying and trying and asking me for. And I also scrub at least 75 barbers within a week at the warehouse, and there hasn't been a week at the warehouse for the past 2 months where I haven't been scrubbing up barbers to get ready for the shop. So believe you me, I know that people have been loving barbers recently and just wax jackets in general, because I think that there was a recent collab between Range Rover. I believe it was Range Rover, but there was also another collab that they did recently. I completely forgot which one it was. I could be wrong, but I believe that they did a checkered collab with Paul Smith as well. So I have seen so many people around Camden and Shoreditch wearing Barber wax jackets. And I think it might have been the Valentino runway, potentially. But even if it's not Valentino, I have been seeing it reoccurring on a lot of runways, and not just wax jackets, but wax coated fabrics in general. But I specifically put Barber and Belstaff because I know that in the shop they absolutely fly off the rails, and we have to bring in more every single week for a new delivery. So that's why I put Barber and Belstaff, because those are the two main British wax jacket brands, and it's a very British silhouette that I've seen out recently. People with, I don't know, skin tight jeans tucked into riding style boots with a Barber or a Belstaff on, or any form of wax jackets, and Burberry as well. I've seen that Burberry are turning more towards their classic British silhouettes. So again, it kind of goes back to the rise of nostalgia, and even the main fashion houses are revisiting their old silhouettes. So I think that people are definitely turning to designs and styles and aesthetics that they used to wear a lot back in the day, if that makes sense. Side note, I feel absolutely fucking awful. No one's forcing me to record this, but my head is absolutely banging. So I need to take a drink of water potentially and take a break, but I will be back. Okay, I'm back. That was a quick break. I just needed to lube up the throat, if you will. That sounds crazy. But anyway, because of all the collabs that Barber have been doing, it just made me think, oh, we are going to see the Barber wax jacket and the Belstaff out in public a lot more. And if you haven't, check out the Range Rover collab that Barber did and the Paul Smith collab. And I think they did a collab with Erdem maybe last year potentially, but I have been loving the different silhouettes for wax jackets recently. And there have been a lot of wax trousers on the runway, wax tops, and all of that jazz. So definitely wax fabric, but I think Barber wax jackets are definitely going to take over. I think that we're going to see a rise in them towards the end of spring, and then they're going to stop for a little bit and potentially come back in autumn. But this isn't me saying that Barber wax is a new revolutionary thing. No, I'm just saying that I think that the everyday person is going to be seen wearing a lot of wax jackets. So you heard it here first. So next, another quick one that I just jotted down on my list is the 2000s brows. Now again, I was meant to record this at the end of last year, so now we're seeing the 2000s brows everywhere. But at the time, it wasn't, of course people had the thin brows, but it wasn't really as big as it is on TikTok now. Now every other scroll that I do on TikTok, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but it's people thinning out their brows or using the thin brow filter that's been circulating recently. And the reason I put thin brows on the list was actually my best friend. I was out with her, both my best friends, one day. We hadn't seen each other in ages, and I said to her, I was like, did you thin out your brows? And she said, yes, thank you so much for noticing. And she's always looked so beautiful, but the thin brows just enhanced her features so much. And also my friend Parminda thinned out her brows, and Manon from Cat's Eye also thinned out her brows. And I just think that it's such a small thing, but it frames the face so much, and then draws people's attention to your more prominent features in a positive way. So I definitely have been seeing the 2000s thin brows coming back, and I absolutely love it. I'm telling you, the early 2000s, late 90s vibes are so back. And again, I've absolutely been loving it. As a 2000s baby and someone that believes they were meant to be born in the 90s in another life, it's just filling my heart so much. Okay, the next thing I am predicting for this year specifically, and maybe this one is very biased. If you guys know me or you follow me on TikTok, you will see that I love my knuckle ring down. If you're watching the video, you can probably see it. But also if you're watching the video, do you love my new piece? My little finger ring. I love the little selection I have on my fingers right now. But anyway, it's definitely biased that I'm putting knuckle rings on here, but I just think statement pieces, especially statement pieces from the 90s, are gonna make a comeback. And I truly am an advocate for a good knuckle ring. I absolutely love mine. It's such a statement. I wear it every single day, and it just elevates a basic outfit. I could be wearing the most basic bummy bust down outfit ever, and I just put on my rings, and not just my knuckle ring, but just my ring collection in general, and it just pushes the outfit and makes it look like I actually put in a little bit of effort, and it's all an illusion. So I'm not just going to say knuckle rings, but I'm going to say big, chunky statement rings in general. I think that we're definitely going to see a rise in that. And with that being said, this also might seem a little bit biased, but I just think massive statement necklaces as well. And I'm not talking the rapper 90s hip hop chain. I am talking vintage, more Aztec-y looking, more handmade vibes, if that makes sense. Statement necklaces and just statement jewelry in general, but more DIY, handcrafted, vintagey looking, as opposed to bedazzled, blinged out, iced out gold chains. So I put that on the list. So I definitely think people are going to be wearing more simple outfits with very bold, out there accessories. So definitely just people paying more attention to their accessories as opposed to a statement jacket or a statement boot or a statement trouser. I think statement accessories are going to take over this year as opposed to a statement piece. And that is my next prediction for this year and going into next year. So this time next year as well. And maybe that's me being biased because I love a statement ring, especially if you guys are watching the video recording, you'll also see this little statement earring piece that I have going on. I'm experimenting with earrings, but I definitely foresee people paying more attention to accessories than their clothing. The next thing I have on my list, and I put this on my list specifically because of the last Victoria's Secret runway, I think their first comeback runway, it wasn't as successful because people were begging for the old Victoria's Secret vibes with the big blowouts and especially the side parts. The last Victoria's Secret runway before this year's one, we saw the slick back bun and a slick back ponytail, and that is not what the fans want to see. What I loved especially about Victoria's Secret growing up was the big blowouts and the side part mixed with the massive wings and the little lingerie pieces. It was just It was just so high fashion and I absolutely loved it. And people were so mad when Victoria's Secret followed the trends and switched to like a more clean girl aesthetic. That is not what the fans want to see. But this year, they went back to their previous big Hollywood blowout curls and the side parts. And I think my friend Nina, it might have been Nina. Again, I'm observing my friends and what they're doing as well. She has been experimenting with a side part recently, and I just love the look of a side part. I used to hate a side part, but recently, over the past, I'd say 6 months, a big Aaliyah style side part with the eye covered, like a big, massive side part, is so cunty. And I think that side parts are definitely going to be making a comeback. It's a simple thing, but I think people are going to turn more to side parts as opposed to a middle part and a slick back. So that is also what I'm foreseeing for this year, but just in general. And full glam and experimental makeup is so coming back. And the reason I put this on the list is because of Zara Larsson's looks and Tyler's recent looks for both of their concerts that they did, I think, last year. With the big, bold mixture of colors, like a neon green with a bright pink, and the glitter and the gems and the rhinestones and everything decked out to the nines. I think experimental makeup is slowly going to push clean girl to the side. And again, that goes back to the 2016 vibes of just the big, you know, the full glam, full coverage, thick eyeliner, thick lip liner. And I put it on the list originally because of Tyler and Zara Larsson. I think Zara Larsson's makeup artist was, if I am correct, is Sophia Sinot. I hope I said her name correctly. Probably not. But Sophie Sinot. And then Tyler's was Painted by Esther. I absolutely love Painted by Esther. And I saw a lot of people in the comments clowning Tyler for the makeup look, but that's the whole point. That was the whole concept. The point was it was meant to be full glam. It was meant to be experimental. It was meant to be full blush blended into the eyeshadow. And it was such a moment, but not everyone understood it. And that's completely fine. But she looked phenomenal, and so did Zara Larsson. And that's what makes me believe that full glam is so back. I think so many people are bored of the clean girl look because clean girl is kind of, this might be controversial to say, but it's more, people say it's more meant for the girlies with clear skin and not a single blackhead and no visible pores, and they never get spots. And I've seen a lot of discourse online about the damage that this whole clean girl, quote unquote clean girl aesthetic is doing to the youth and their perception of what real skin in real life looks like. And I completely get why that could be damaging to the brain. And because of that, I've seen a lot of people kind of pushing the clean girl vibe aside and going back to the full coverage and the full glam because that's what works best for their skin. So with that being said, I definitely think people are going to get more creative with their makeup and go back to that 2015 to 2018, shall we say, vibe. And I really think Euphoria helped keep that experimental makeup going, and then Clean Girl kind of pushed that aside. But with the new season of Euphoria coming, I really think that people are gonna tap back into the experimental vibe. And that's my next forecast on the list. This isn't just fashion, by the way, it's kind of just all encompassing. So fashion, nails, hair, accessories, all of that. The next thing I have on my list, and this, it could be a hit or a miss, I'm not too sure, but I saw it and I was absolutely obsessed with it. I saw this video online of this girl and she was at her grandma's house and she was going out and she didn't have anything to wear. So her grandma got an old tablecloth and made her the most beautiful, it was a white tablecloth. She made her the most beautiful mini skirt out of this white kind of crocheted tablecloth. And that got me thinking, I really think that DIY is definitely going to make a comeback, but tablecloth skirts and tablecloth tops. And then I also saw Mira Palais. It wasn't Mira Palais, but it was a brand similar, with a similar vibe to Mira Palais. They were doing this whole tablecloth runway collection, and that got me thinking, tablecloths. Tablecloths. I remember back in the day, there was this fabric, and it wasn't quite crochet, but it wasn't knitted, and it was a similar vibe to a is it a coaster, like what you put your cup on, but a fabric coaster. And I used to see that everywhere in the early 2000s. My mum's favorite tablecloth growing up was a white crochet situation, and the girl and her grandma really got me thinking that maybe not necessarily tablecloths, but that specific fabric is going to be reoccurring on runways and in public. And on the video recording, I'm going to insert a picture of the fabric I mean, and on the Things Left Unsaid Instagram, I'm going to put up a picture so you know what I'm talking about. But it's that specific fabric that I think we're going to be seeing reoccurring in public. It's not sheer, but it's crochet. And once you guys see the image, you will understand what I mean. But I decided to put that on the list because of that girl and her grandma. And then ever since that video, I've been seeing more and more people taking apart scarves and tablecloths and blankets and even towels and making these really beautiful kind of combination of fabrics and turning it into tops and skirts. So I definitely think that we are going to see that happening a lot this year. And again, you're going to have to kind of look up or look at the video recording to know the fabric that I'm talking about. But I think we're going to specifically see that fabric coming up a lot in spring, especially. And you guys are probably going to get so sick of me bringing this up. Like, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. But I have been saying this since last year and the year before. I've been saying this for the past 3-4 years. Everyone is going to slowly turn away from the baggy vibe. Not me. I'm always going to be a baggy babe. But I am also an avid supporter of skinny jeans. I really love skinny jeans. And again, with the 2016 vibes coming back, everyone is going to be turning... Oh, I just hit the microphone stand. I hope you didn't hear. But everyone is going to be turning to skinny jeans, and maybe not, well, not everyone loves a skinny jean, but I definitely think straight leg jeans are going to be a bigger thing than the huge baggy silhouette. I really think that people are going to try and bring it down a notch, and skinny jeans are definitely going to be the it piece this year. I've been not trying to make it happen, but I've been telling everyone, guys, make sure you get your skinny jeans if you want to stay on trend. Again, I hate trend, but if you want to stay on trend, make sure you have skinny jeans in your collection. And I don't know why everyone all of a sudden decided that they hated skinny jeans, but I have always been an avid skinny jeans lover. So you watch it this year, every other person that you walk past on the street is going to be wearing skinny jeans or straight leg, but definitely skinny jeans. I'm making it happen. Now, I'm always keeping up with runways and Vogue Runway, and I'm always keeping up to date with everything that's been going on in the fashion space, because again, I just live and breathe fashion, and I always want to know what the latest runway is looking like and what the latest fashion houses are leaning more towards. And especially this past fashion week, I have been seeing a lot more tailoring. I think the previous fashion week, of course, there was still tailoring. I had to take a quick pause. Yes, I did, because my camera died. My camera battery died. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. But we are so back. Okay, anyway, like I was saying, I just ripped off my pimple patch. Just ripped it right off my face. Anyway, okay. Like I was saying, there's still... What was I saying? Maybe I should have listened back to the last thing I said before skipping and jumping back and, recording, and I haven't ticked anything off my list. Tailoring. I love tailoring. Of course, tailoring was always a consistent theme that occurred throughout every collection's runway. Always. But I believe it was Louis Vuitton. It was the Louis Vuitton runway, the recent one. They did like these broad silhouettes in the style of, it was kind of emulating the silhouette of an owl. And I'm going to insert pictures on the Things Left Unsaid video recording for you guys to see. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look at Louis Vuitton's recent runway. And then I was also looking at Saatchi and their recent runway, and they are known for their tailoring and more structured looks. So looking at those two runways and then seeing it reoccurring more often than it usually would in a runway for this past fashion week, I truly believe that tailored pieces and more refined and bespoke made-to-measure pieces are going to be seeping their way into people's wardrobe. And I think overall, people are going to start prioritizing structure and silhouette, because I think over the past couple years, people have been prioritizing maybe more patterns and fabrics as opposed to silhouette. And I think there was this one video on TikTok that I saw, and the girl was saying that not everything that you find cool is meant for you. Not everything that you find aesthetically pleasing and you gravitate toward is made for your silhouette. And I think that is 100% true. And that's why I believe that people are going to start tailoring their pieces more and turning more to structure and silhouette of their garment, as opposed to just a fabric and a print and a piece. People are really going to start paying more attention to their wardrobe and getting pieces in their wardrobe tailored to make it fit better or completely change the silhouette altogether. And I decided to put this on my list after looking at the Louis Vuitton runway in particular. And if you haven't seen the Louis Vuitton runway and the Saatchi runway, please check it out, because I am so obsessed with the silhouette of those two runways specifically. But I think this fashion week has been so strong when it comes to the structure and the composition of pieces. But yeah, I definitely think, again, overall, people are going to prioritize structure as opposed to everything else. And that's why I put tailoring on the list. And again, this isn't me saying, oh my gosh, this is a crazy new concept that I've just come up with that has never been done before, as if tailoring hasn't been done for hundreds and hundreds of years. But this is just me saying what I think is going to be the focus of this year. So moving on. Now, I don't really have an explanation for these next things on my list, but we're going to talk about the colors that I think are going to be the leading colors for this year. And I don't have a rhyme or reason, nothing. I can't really pinpoint a specific reason why I have chosen these colors to put here, but I think I was looking on, it might have just been on Vogue Runway, and I was just pulling out reoccurring colors that kept appearing. But blue, and that's not just because my favorite color is blue, but specifically Capri blue is going to be the color of the summer. It's not a light blue, it's not a navy, it's kind of How would you explain Capri Blue? I think you might just have to search it up yourself. Capri Blue is kind of just, it's like a really deep sky blue. Please just search it up because you guys have got me here fighting for my life trying to describe this color to you. But it's like a deeper shade of sky blue, not cyan, but not the brightest azure in the world. It's just Capri Blue, okay? Please just search up Capri Blue. I'm sick of this shit. It's like a deep sky blue. Anyway, I believe that is going to be the color of the summer. For no reason. The only reason I say Capri Blue is because whenever I think of Italy, I was really wanting to go to Italy this year for some reason. And whenever I think of Italy and Greece, they're the two places that I was kind of deciding between. That is the color that comes to mind when I think of Italy and Greece. So that is the only explanation I have as to why I chose Capri Blue. There's no other kind of evidence to back this up. I haven't even really seen it out in public that much, but I don't know, that is the color of the summer for me personally. And you heard it here first. Once Capri Blue picks up, t.l.u said it first. But I also think a burnt orange, and I'm just kind of pulling that out my ass because I recently got this vintage diesel bag. Yes, I did. Yes, I really did. I think I've mentioned it in a podcast episode before. I got this vintage diesel bag and it's a burnt orange, and I hate the color orange, but this diesel bag has completely shifted my mindset. So that's why I put it on the list, because of my diesel bag. Ew. And burnt orange will also be the color of the summer. And I think a lot more people are going to be wearing shades of brown. Don't ask why. I just think brown is going to be the color of the summer for some reason. I'm talking ranging from tan and a beige to a deep chocolate brown and a mahogany. Brown is going to take over. Capri Blue, burnt orange, and brown. I also think, again, I think people are going to be stepping out of their comfort zone a little bit, and the whole clean girl, clean look is going to be brushed aside completely. And I see a lot of people wearing neon colors. I don't know, maybe it's just because I was watching some concert videos from Tyler's concert, and she's been really leaning into the whole rave party princess vibe, if that makes sense. And she's wearing a lot of neon colors. She had a neon yellow, I think it was a neon yellow bob, and it was so cute and cunty. So I think neon colors are really going to be making a comeback. And I've also got not a neon yellow, but I've been really loving a bright yellow mixed with a bright blue recently. They're two of my favorite colors. So neon colors are going to be the thing this summer, I believe. And also a rise of purple. I am putting purple on my list because one of my colleagues at work, she is a purple advocate. We were just talking about our favorite colors the other day, and I said, oh, my favorite color is blue. She started dragging me for filth, dragging me through the mud because my favorite color was blue. If you had heard the things that she was saying about me saying my favorite color was blue, you would have thought I had just hit her grandma with my car, then reversed, and then I was, you know, I don't know, but the way she was verbally abusing me because my favorite color was blue was absolutely fucking insane. And she loves purple, and she truly believes that purple is going to be in everyone's wardrobe this year. So I can't even take credit for this one, but shout out to Lizzie. She is the reason I put the color purple on this list. And I was going to say baby blue. I'm gonna put baby blue on the list too. It's my favorite color. Fuck it, why not? But I think baby blue and gray, I think that is going to be the color combination. If baby blue not comes back, but if baby blue is a reoccurring color this year, I think it's going to be mixed with a gray. I personally love a baby blue and a gray color combination down. I think you can't go wrong with that color combination. And I saw, again, I'm pulling all of my bullet points for this list off of runways, and I don't remember which runway it was, but they had this like wool, I think it was wool, it was this wool trench coat with baby blue accents on the edge, and I'm going to try and insert an image of what I mean. I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong, but I believe it was Gabriella Hart's. Throughout her runway, she had baby blue and grey and yellow and grey and red and grey, and I just love a baby blue and grey colour combination. So I think the colour combination for this year will be baby blue and grey, or yellow, a butter yellow and a baby blue, and a burnt orange and brown. Those are the little colour combinations. And obviously we've got capri blue and white, but that's pretty basic. But those are the colour combinations that I think will be taking over this year. And I am never, ever, ever, ever wrong. Ever, actually. I almost forgot. Now, this wasn't originally on my list, but early last year, I said I believe bandage dresses are going to come back. Guys, please, please, please open up your TikTok, scroll a little bit, and I guarantee a couple videos down, it will be a baddie in a bandage dress. What did I say? I put bandage dresses on the list because I think I said this back in I don't know when I said it, but I was going to Gambia and I was looking for dresses to wear for my uncle's wedding and after party and stuff like that. And I was in the vintage shop and I saw this baby blue bandage dress. You guys know how I feel about baby blue, and I'm not a dress girl, but I saw it and I had to get it. Mind you, I went to Gambia in 2024. I have predicted that bandage dresses would make a comeback since like 2023, 2024. And what has happened this year? Say it with me. Bandage dresses. So I arrest my case. This wasn't even originally on the list, but I thought I would give myself a quick pat on the back and put bandage dresses on the list. Thank you so much. Thank you. And this is further proof that I am never wrong. In my 20 years of life, I have never been wrong once, ever. And again, I said this one last year, but it still counts for this year as well. Still valid. I think big, crazy, obnoxiously large belts are going to take over. Just big, for no reason, statement belts. And I've said this last year and I'm saying it again. I've really wanted this belt from Vaquera. Vaquera is one of my favorite brands of all time. I love Vaquera so much. And I also want the Vaquera Converse collab. If you haven't seen it, please search it up. They look so tea. But there's this big belt from Vaquera that I've been obsessed with for like the past 5 years, and I've been saving up for it. I have the money for it, but it's always sold out, and I'm so pissed. I'm just thinking about going to a leather shop and seeing if they can custom make one for me, because I've been wanting this Vaquera belt for so long and it's always sold out. So I really, really think that it didn't happen so much last year, but they did, there were sightings of big belts. But no, I think definitely this year there's going to be big, obnoxiously large statement belts. Like, I'm talking ridiculously big. So you guys are going to see big belts. I promise you all of this is going to happen because I'm a genius. I'm a visionary. I can't see the future, but pretty close. So massive statement belts as well. The next thing I have on my list, again, a lot of source of inspiration for this fashion forecast is from things I've seen working at the vintage shop or are best sellers at the vintage shop. So the next thing I have on my list is military jackets and vests. And I'm talking Cheryl Cole, fight for this love type shit. Like, we have a bunch of they're so cute. I'm going to take some pictures and insert them in this video. We have a bunch of authentic vintage military jackets in the shop. And towards the end of the year, as in last year, a lot of people were trying and buying. And not to get deep, but I also think the current political climate is influencing this, because the world is absolutely fucked right now, and people are trying to make the most of it, especially people in the fashion space. And I think that fashion truly is political, and people that live and breathe fashion often end up storytelling and expressing themselves through their fashion. And I think the current political climate is really influencing people's outerwear and what they're wearing right now. And that's why I've decided to put military jackets on the lists, and just military vests in general. And I was also looking at the Andamühlemeister runway. I love Andamühlemeister so much. And I was looking at the Andamühlemeister runway, and there were so many military jackets and military vests and military inspired silhouettes on that runway. It was their full 2026 ready to wear. And the runway absolutely gagged me, by the way. Please check it out. But that is also what inspired me to put military jackets and vests on this list, but also everything that's going on in the world right now. I think that fashion right now is a reflection of everything that's going on in the world. And again, not to get deep, but it is a really, really scary time. And nobody really knows which direction the world is going in. But one thing that fashion motherfuckers do know is how to storytell and express ourselves throughout our outfits, no matter how small. And military jackets are definitely gonna pick up this year. I feel so fucking rough. I feel so arse right now, and you can definitely hear it in my voice. But anyway, military jackets. Again, with the rise in nostalgia, like I said, early 2000s and late 90s are so back. But I think there's going to be a lot more layering, but in terms of tops and the different silhouettes. I've seen a few people, especially last year, layering their bikini tops, and I just think it's so cute. So I think we might see a lot more people wearing that sort of vibe out day to day. Like the early 2000s, it was kind of an like stringy tank top with a short sleeve top underneath it. That's the kind of silhouette I'm talking about. So definitely more layering of tops, like crop tops, longer tops, just layering of tops in general, with the early 2000s silhouette as inspiration. I've said this before, but I think not an accessory, but an accent piece is going to be studs. I have these Bebo heels from like, I think, not early 2000s, but the mid 2000s. And I'm pretty sure it was Madonna that always used to wear that sort of style. So studded heels, and also the Devil Wears Prada trailer, we saw a studded red pair of heels. So I definitely think studs are going to be the accent piece, but also fringe. I'm pretty sure I said this, I think it was last year, and I was absolutely correct, because definitely towards the end of the year, it started picking up and people were getting fringe bags and fringe boots and fringe jackets. And actually, talking of fringe, my friend Nina has the cutest, I think it's a suede jacket, but with a bunch of fringe, and it's brown, color of the summer brown. And she looks so cute in it. So shout out Nina. And I also think Parminder has a fringe bag. But yes, I said it last year, fringe is 100% taking over. And like I said, I'm never wrong. And on this list, I also have lace accents. Lace is always going to be a reoccurring fabric. Everyone loves lace. It's sexy, it's sultry, you can't go wrong with lace. But I think we're going to see more lace accents as opposed to full lace. And I saw this reoccurring on I think my camera just died. Anyway, I saw this reoccurring on the Valentino runway, actually. So I definitely think lace accents are going to take over as opposed to full lace. Like lace trimming on the end of your skirt and on the end of your sleeves, and just kind of that situation is what I'm envisioning for this year. And I also think that we're going to see a lot more tartan and plaid. I'm talking very Vivienne Westwood. I think that might be the print for this year, potentially. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that one, but something is telling me that the iconic Vivienne Westwood plaid and tartan is going to make a comeback. I mean, it's always been consistent throughout culture, but especially British culture, but I definitely think more people are going to tap into that print. So that is the next thing that I have on this list. And on my list, I also have statement tights, and maybe that's just because I love a statement tight myself, and it's very Vivienne Westwood, but I definitely think statement tights are going to pick up, like maybe a full solid color tight or polka dot tights, stripe tights, all of that. I definitely think tights and stockings are going to be something that a lot more people are purchasing and wearing every single day. And with statement tights, I added that to the list because I was also thinking about things that I used to wear a lot as a kid. Statement tights was one of them. Again, I think I've said this before, but my nickname as a kid was Pippi Longstockings. That was my dad's nickname for me because I always had these colourful striped or polka dot tights, and I've got ridiculously long legs. It's actually crazy. So my dad's nickname for me was Pippi. And I'm actually going to get that tattooed on me because I love it so much. But again, I was thinking about things that I used to wear a lot as a kid, and I was feeling very nostalgic. And I had this flowy crop top with these fringe drawstrings that I used to wear every single day in a Missoni print. If you don't know what a Missoni print is, please search it up. I'm done trying to explain. I'm sick and tired of it. But it was in a Missoni print, and I used to wear it everywhere, nearly every single day if I could. My mum would be like, no, you have to wash it now. It's getting a bit sweaty. It's getting a bit smelly. You need to wash it. But I would wear it every single day if I could. So with that being said, I think that the print for this year is going to be a Missoni print. Again, search it up if you don't know, but I was feeling nostalgic. I used to wear that crop top all the time as a kid, and I think I used to have a cutesy matching pair of shorts with it. I think it was a cute little two-piece situation that we had going on, but I used to wear them together every single day. So again, Missoni print is going to take over this year. You heard it here first. I also think I've already kind of touched on this, but clean girl, I think clean girl will slowly come to an end. And with that, we will see the rise of indie sleaze. Again, I'm talking Kate Moss, Amy Winehouse, Kate Moss at Glastonbury, especially. That's the image that came to mind when she's wearing, I think it was Glastonbury. She had this studded black bag, and I think she had a pint in hand with this green oversized cardigan, a belt draped around her waist, and then this really cute leather jacket. That's the image that's coming to mind when I'm thinking indie sleaze. So definitely clean girl is going to make its way out. Indie sleaze, also a little bit of Kesha. I've been seeing a lot more Kesha vibes going on. You know, carefree, skinny jeans, rip tights, indie rock, post-punk, all of that. So I think indie sleaze is definitely going to make its comeback, I believe. I don't know. I think that there's going to be a lot less clean and refined and a lot more messy. And that's what I'm envisioning for this year. I don't know. Indie Sleaze is so back, potentially. Maybe that could be a wild shout, but what is that on my leg? Anyway, that's a wild shout, but I think Indie Sleaze is going to take over. And I know my friend, no, I'm not going to name drop him. He'd hate that anyway. Get rid of that. Next thing on the list. Okay, I'm going to be honest. They're the main things that I had on the list, the things that really jumped out to me and I was pulling from runways and on the streets and that I was seeing in the shop. So they're the main ones that I had on my list. And I think I'm just going to do a little rapid fire to finish off my bullet points that I have here. Okay, again, there's going to be no explanation with these. I'm just going to say them just to get them off the list. So I've got brooches, I've got pillbox and painter boy hats. Search them up if you don't know. I already said statement tights. I think deer print is also going to be another big one, along with Missoni print. I think deer print is going to take over. I did put cardigans and quarter zips because I remember seeing, I think it was Central C in a quarter zip, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, we all need to be wearing Ralph Lauren quarter zips now, even though everyone was already wearing Ralph Lauren quarter zips. But anyway, I put cardigans and quarter zips, but that's already a thing. I also put drop crotch joggers. Now this one's very specific to me, and maybe it's just because I want it. I'm talking Justin Bieber purpose era drop crotch. That's how dropped the crotch is. And I want this particular Rick Owens pair, but it's sold out everywhere. Imagine a pair of drop crotch joggers with a cunty pair of heels, and then, I don't know, like a plaid button up wrapped around your waist. That sort of situation. I also put bangles and thicker ceramic jewelry. I put open back loafers. I think I saw it on the Chanel runway potentially, and also Loewe. I put slouchy bags and fringe bags in particular, so fringe. I also put pony hair. If you don't know what pony hair is, I really can't help you. Please don't make me keep doing this, but pony hair is also going to be a reoccurring texture and fabric. I put thin scarves. I'm not too sure about that one, but it's very 2016, early 2000s aesthetic if we're talking about the rise of nostalgia. So thin, sheer scarves, that's what I put. I think off the shoulder and backless everything, absolutely everything is going to make a comeback. I think definitely backless. So off the shoulder and backless in general. I also put utility belts. There's no explaining that, utility belts. And I think that's about it for everything I put on this list. It was only meant to be a short 30-minute episode, but we've made it into an hour. Somehow I have my ways. I always manage to do that. But overall, I think it's definitely going to be statement colors will take over. My camera just died again. And people will start experimenting with silhouette and prints and all of that jazz. So I think we can wrap this up now. I think. Have I got anything else that I've forgotten? No. Okay, everyone. To end this off, I just want to say that nothing needs normalizing. Just fucking wear it. Okay, and I know that not everyone is creative when it comes to their fashion and they need guidance, and not everyone is into fashion the way I am and a lot of my friends are, but I think it's important to learn yourself and your color palette and your proportions and your silhouette and prints that best complement you. And I'm also thinking of doing a styling tips video as well on how to find your own personal style and how I curated my own personal style, because I feel like my style is very DIY-y, experimental, and it's definitely not for everyone, but that's why it's my personal style. And I get a lot of my friends saying, I don't know how you pull some of this stuff off. I don't know how you wear some of those outfits. If I wore it, it wouldn't make sense. And I think a pod episode kind of breaking that down would be really fun. But anyway, I'm going to leave this here. I need to rest my throat and go to sleep because I feel like I'm about to pass out. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to Things Left Unsaid. I will be back with more podcast episodes. Let me know if you enjoyed this fashion forecast more or the previous fashion forecast more. And yeah, new episodes every single Friday. But with that being said, I'm going to end this here. I love you guys so much. Again, thank you for listening to Things Left Unsaid. New episodes every Friday. I think I've said that already, but mwah, I love you. Bye.